Rory Mack, and it's going to be remembered. It will be a lasting image from the 2024 United States Open, just like Bryson DeChambeau's 55-yard bunker shot.
We love big-time winners. Like, you win a championship, we want to hear from you. You get the stage. Sometimes it's emotional. It's a great watch. We know we also love the losers who said, you know what, I just can't believe I folded down the stretch. Let me face the music here. You sort of get a new light there.
The Early Line, only on Sports Grid.
You know, this guy is the mad scientist. I mean, he's all about green density. So in my mind, I feel like he's going to have the green speeds dialed in and the angles he needs to land them and all that sort of stuff. I feel like he's going to be a good spot and playing the course well. And he's going to be hitting less club into a lot of these par threes too. So I just, we're talking about using a live guy. I love Bryson this week. I'm riding with Bryson.
Only on Sports Grid.
The 5s, the 10s, the 20s, and the 40s, and you've got a couple that I love here, including a guy who has been rock solid at majors in Tom Kim.
Don't forget for a second that he finished top 5 when Phil won at Kiowa, and it's the same sort of sandy surface with push-up greens where there's a lot of awkward situational short game shots. The big rig, Harry Higgs, he was solid there, and he's playing some great golf right now.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on Sports Grid.
Do you believe that Bobrovsky's minus 420 number right now using the FanDuel Sportsbook is an appropriate pricing?
I look at how strong Bobrovsky's been able to be, and he's been stealing these games. And when we look across the board for the rest of the Florida Panthers, there's not that standout player out there. But you got to remember, this is a voted on award.
Game time decisions, only on Sports Grid.
And welcome in. It's In-Game Live Prime Time on a wonderful money-making Wednesday evening. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan for the next 2 glorious hours, right up until 10 p.m. Eastern Time, as we cover and, more importantly, bet on the world of sports. Yes, little Major League Baseball. We got some WNBA action today. We got same-game parlays, black clouds. We got the Mets going for 8 straight. We got Monty out. Can the Rockies recover? Cole is back in. We're going to go from 64 to 65 to 68 to now perhaps 76 in college basketball. And time to utter those 5 dastardly words that we all hate to say but have to say it. Wetzel was right again. Damn. My partner in crime.
Wetzel was right again. Damn. Oh, okay. I thought it was 4, but you had to add that last one. Yes, sir. Great to see you. We were celebrating before the show started here in our little pre-production meeting about you hitting the same-game parlay last night. Due to the fact that the ump blew the call, it was definitely a check swing. I mean, it was definitely a swing.
I don't know about that.
But hold on. You had a ticket on the Dodgers, and you had a ticket on Hernandez, and one swing of the bat swung that whole bet from books winning a mountain of money on the Rockies, winning the game. I had a big lead. And everybody that was chasing the Dodgers was betting it in game, and they came all the way back to 9-8. And instead of collecting something, the home run flipped everything to Dodgers winning on the run line. 11-9 final. That's gambling, boys and girls. That's a brutal beat for the books. But no, there's no sympathy for the books. My friend David Purdom writes a great column for ESPN. He had a great line, and I attribute it to him every time I say it. There's more sympathy for the devil than the bookmaker. And he's absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Yeah. And if you bet Colorado, then you know what? If you bet Colorado, you deserve whatever you get. You know, it's simple. Not that I root against you, but if you're betting your hard-earned American money on Colorado, no matter what happens, there is no sympathy for you either. So, and I will say this. Now, did the guy check his swing? Yes, but did the bat go past home plate? Yes. So I've seen it called both ways. But I tell you, I know exactly what happened. Being a world-class 4th, 5th grade girls referee, I know exactly what happened, Dave.
What happened?
He wasn't He wasn't paying attention.
He didn't see it.
It's impossible. It is, for a guy that refs sports that are like free flowing.
Yeah.
You lose concentration. You start looking to the side. You look at the MILFs in the stands. You hear some yelling and screaming. You're doing this, you're doing that. And then all of a sudden you realize, whose ball is it? Where we go? Left, right, red? Is it black? You got to pull the official over. I don't doubt for a second that official, and I'm sure it happens all the time, wasn't looking or a corner of his eyes like, I think a check swing.
A highly trained official like you knows to pay attention to the game, especially at a crucial point of the game like that. 1 out away from it ending, most likely, then it didn't. You know what's not ending tonight? The Mets, the winning streak. Grimace started it with the first pitch, and the Mets keep doing it. They keep finding ways to win. They won 7-6 yesterday. What do the books do today? They make the Rangers a favorite. Come on, are you kidding me? And the computer fell for it here. The smart projection has the Rangers winning. Nah, not for me. I got the good stuff out tonight. I mean, the dark black uniform for the Mets, the black hat. We look like Piazza a little bit back in the day.
Like Piazza, yeah.
Right? That's what everybody sees. You little Johan Santana. All of it works. The Mets work for me tonight. Sir, how about you? I know that, you're in New York. You might have an opinion about this game. Yes, no, maybe, anything?
Yeah, I gave this out to the podcast crew. That's one of the better plays. How can't you, right? I mean, it's simple. Simple winners bet with streaks, losers bet against streaks, right? And you got 2 streaks here. You got the Mets winning 7 in a row, and you got the Rangers losing 5 in a row. The Rangers are winless, oh, by the way, in Andrew Haney's 8 home starts this year. 0-8. I mean, there's realistically no reason outside of
the Rangers. Who's the starter for the Rangers tonight?
Andrew Haney? Haney?
That's the guy? That's the guy. They're 0-8?
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah, that's the guy.
See?
Yeah.
That's what the highly trained research team we have here knew that. I was just setting you up. That was perfect.
Okay.
Good work, sir. Like the game over? There's not a team scoring more runs in baseball right now than the New York Mets. Mets and over tonight.
Yeah. Texas strong under team. 43-29-1 under. So, maybe 6-1. They scored 9 runs combined in their last 4 games before last night. Now, they got 6 last night, but they're not hitting. They're not pitching. I wouldn't fool around. The Mets are such a strong play that I wouldn't fool around with the over-under. And I don't say that too often.
Well, prior to last night, the Mets were looking to score double-digit runs in 3 straight games for the first time in franchise history. They did not. They got 7 last night. But also, prior to last night, they've outscored their opponents 45-16 during the winning streak. Wow. They added 7 more to that. So that's 52-22 if you're keeping track during the 7-game win streak. So, Mets, listen, I don't get a chance to wear the Mets stuff that often for the Mets fans out there. So this is the time to do it. Wetzel's right. Wetzel's right again. Damn it. Damn. How many words is that? 5. I got damn.
5. Now, I'll ask you this question because you are one that somehow or another bucked the system and hit with the Oakland A's last night.
Yes, sir.
I remember everything. You said, I kind of like the A's, Scott. I'm like, they lost 9 in a row. How could you like the A's? And you just had that little squirky little smile on your face like you knew something, like you were back behind the desk. Like, every once in a while you give me that look, and it's like, this is the book. This is the book, Dave. He knows something. So with that said, is it possible to put American hard-earned money on the Chicago White Sox, knowing they actually won yesterday? Are they really going to win 2 in a row against the Astros?
You may be pushing your luck here with that one. That was a tough one to come with again today. Listen, you feel like you stole one yesterday, right? You get a shutout in a game against the Astros. 13-3 after their last 16 losses for the Astros, and 6-21 for the White Sox in their last 27 games played. And one of those wins was last night. Yeah. Now, Crochet's the guy that a lot of the bad guys, a lot of the rhombuses, parallelograms like to back when he pitches. So I don't know. I'm not crazy about this side. I think I like the total under in the game better than anything. I think we'll have to keep an eye on this in-game, maybe White Sox first 5 until that bullpen comes in and maybe blows it. That's the way I'm thinking, at least right now.
That's not a bad idea. Yeah, because he's 6-6, and it's literally almost half of their wins have come with him on the hill. I mean, they only have 20, so he has actually 6 on his ledger, and then obviously there are a bunch of games that he pitched that he didn't get a decision in. He's almost like halfway there, believe it or not.
Yep.
It's amazing. It really is remarkable.
It really is.
So,
yeah.
But going against the Sox, it almost not quite pick them, but minus 120, 125, 130. Oof, that's hard not to take. It really is.
Very hard not to take. And again, the book knows that as well. So you have to be very careful. Sometimes those prices look too good to be true. Sometimes they are. Sometimes they aren't. This one has that feel tonight like, really? We're going to do this? And I always say this. Think about if you make a play afterward, if you feel good about it, win or lose. Like you go, boy, I backed the White Sox tonight? What was I thinking? I should have been getting plus 150 or 160. I only got this when they lose. Now, when they win, you remember the good times. Like last night when you hit that Dodger bet. You had it all the way. There was no question.
Oh, all the way. Well, no, I was counting my money. In the 5th inning, I was counting my money. Absolutely. Speaking of the Dodgers, they got an early start in Colorado. First pitch in a second or two. We'll go over that game, plus Milwaukee Angels, Kansas City, and Oakland, all coming up as well. In-game live prime time here on The Grid.
Crazy how many teams had a chance to win. The Ripper GC went from 9 back to leading by 2 to near the cellar again late in the day. It was so volatile, counting 4 scores. It was pretty nuts, but the Cliques have been cellar dwellers for basically 2.5 seasons, and they come out victorious today. That's awesome.
It'll be the summer of the Cliques, definitely. So, like I said, there's definitely more to come from us.
It was a magnificent ball striking performance.
Yeah, I got to speak to someone in his camp before he teed off this morning, and they said to me that he is finally feeling extremely comfortable out here. He's not thinking about any swing thought. He's going out there, he's swinging so freely, and it certainly showed today. The way he drove the ball, the way he hit his irons, and even in his putting as well.
Yeah, and lives in Texas, went to school in Texas. His tour win on the PGA Tour was here in Houston, which is Texas, and now his first live win, Texas.
Honestly, it was just a matter of playing solid coming down the stretch. I think there was a switch there on 15 that I made birdie, he made bogey, and I just knew that I had to par in pretty much, and it was mine. The 18 I made bogey, but it worked. He played unbelievable, and he put pressure all the way to the end, and it was a good battle. I love playing here. Obviously, Texas treats me well. It's my adopted home state, so I'm just happy to get it done again in Houston.
All right, welcome back in-game live, prime time here on The Grid. Just getting underway. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sherapan for the next hour, 45 minutes. We got Cam Stewart, we got Rob Donaldson, fantasy underdog, joining us to get some baseball picks from him, some hockey, and some golf, and probably baseball as well from Cam coming up in hour number 2. So just running down the games here. They're going to start in a little while. Got about a half hour between the first pitch with Colorado and the Dodgers. So a little while, but still we'll get into it here. Since it's an early start. Got LA. I mean, can Colorado, bounce back? I do like betting on teams, Dave. I must say that lose heartbreakers. Most people say, oh, they're so depressed. I really find it's just the opposite. I find that the other team is so giddy, they're not concentrating, and the team that lost a crazy way like they did last night is so ticked off that, they come extra pumped up. That said, I'm not putting American money on Colorado and Ryan Feltner, who stinks. 1-6, 0-2 at home. Yeah, Rockies, they're awful. 4-10 in his 14 starts this year, so you got to go Dodgers again, right?
I would advise that. Yeah, sometimes you could take a pass. I mean, it's, would you say 4-10 in Feltner's 14 starts, 14-4 in the last 18 games versus the Rockies for the Dodgers, including undefeated 4-0 this season. You have some systems. You have a lot of different theories and things, and sometimes betting on a team that loses in heartbreaking fashion, gets blown out. I like the blowout, come back on them the next day better. Sometimes those ones, lead to just losing streaks, and you go, man, what do we have to do to beat these guys? So Dodgers are passed for me tonight. I don't want anything to do with the Rockies, although it might be another one where they're leading after 5 and then the bullpen comes in. And bad bullpens never go away. That's one of the best sources of handicapping in baseball. Find those bad bullpens, continually pick against them because they can't be fixed right away. They got to keep putting guys out there to try to get those innings 6, 7, 8, and 9. That doesn't change. I love going against bad bullpens.
Yeah, it's smart. That second 5, I don't generally play that at all, but if you just looked at the worst, take the 5 worst bullpens, and there are stats that'll give you that stuff. And, man, just bet against them or bet the overs against that team or on that team, whatever you want to describe it. There's probably different little goofy ways that if you were legit with it, you'd find a way to get that done, right? And just bet against that bullpen.
Well, that's the strength of the in-game. We're in-game live primetime, but the in-game betting, you get a much better number on teams. You could have taken 3.5, 4.5 runs with the Dodgers yesterday when they were down and taken a big plus like you like to do on the money line and different things like that. So it's definitely available. The producers took down the Florida Panthers yesterday. They laid a 1.5. They've been hot the wrong way. Now Shohei Ohtani's, they're the MVP. He's the MVP right now by odds, and he's the guy. Producers picked tonight Shohei Ohtani to record 2+ hits, -105. Boys, in the back, Matty G, Vinny, Wetzel, I think they may have found one tonight. I think I can get behind this one. He's hitting lead off. He's going to get more at-bats.
He's hitting lead off.
Right? So we need 2. We need 2. What if he walks? This could be a problem. Could walk.
That's if they walk, they pitch around him. I don't think they would do that. Here's the problem with that. You need 2 hits. That's and you're laying odds, right? Or -105. So theoretically, it should be a 50-50 proposition, right? It should be, if you look up Ohtani's numbers, he's doing this half the time. That's why it's a 50-50 bet, right? Well, he's not getting 2 hits half the time. He'd be hitting 500 if he was getting 2 hits, in half the games, basically, or 400 anyway. In the month of June, he's had 2 hits or more, a lot, but 1, 2, 3, 3-1, 4-1, 4-2, 4-3, 4-4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5-8, 5-9, 5-10, 5-11. So out of 16 games, he's only had 2 hits 5 times, and it's a 50-50 bet. It doesn't add up. You should be getting odds.
You just went through Shohei Ohtani's entire month that quickly, live on the air. That was almost like Rain Man stuff. That was really, that was good. And I don't even know if you could actually see what you were looking at. You did a little lean back and got far enough away.
I get the reading glasses
that was
on.
that was
pretty
back
good.
Up a little. Listen, I got to give you credit for that. That was solid. No, boys, I'm rooting for you. Now, the way this loses is that he leads off the game with a double or something, right? Then he strikes out. Then he pops up. Then he walks, and you get 1 at-bat in the night. Then we got the whole night riding on this. We'll know by the end of the show We don't have the goal horn to play, but we're going to need some sort of alert noise every time Ohtani's up tonight, fellas. So stay tuned. Let us know in the chat or, on the Twitter. Let me and Wetzel know. Opposite Picks, Sports Beat Cake and Sig, Sports Grid. Tag it all. And let's go Ohtani. I hope he goes 2 for 2, his first 2 at-bats. Yeah.
Would you make that bet? Now, he's been hot. No. I will say he's gotten 2 hits out of his last 4 of his last 5 games. But would you make that? Yeah, I wouldn't either.
No.
Yeah.
It's hard enough to get 1 hit. Depending on what the odds were, I'd bet him to get 1 hit. But now I got to get him 2 hits. No, I'm good. I'm rooting for you, though. Like, as the book, I mean, you got to lay 105 and he got to get 2 hits. That's a good deal for the book. But, no, I would not make that bet. No. Thank you.
I mean, best case scenario, he gets 5 at-bats, right? More than likely 4. But leading off, he could get 5. So you got to go 2 for 5. 2 for 4, 2 for 5. He's been hot, but I would.
You got to get 5 those odds. I feel better with 5. I feel better with 5 at-bats. Like, we got to score runs. Tonight, the worst thing that could happen is a pitcher stole in Colorado.
Yeah.
And we only get 4 at-bats. That's no good.
I will say this. Before you hit that, bet, supposedly the weather is wet, rainy, damp in Colorado today. Someone tweeted me that.
Oh.
So, ball's not flying out. Ball's not flying out as far.
We can get 2 infield singles. I'll take 2 infield singles.
How about a bunt? Can you bunt for me, Ohtani?
Does he bunt?
He's fast. Should be able to, right? Or hit a home run. Jog.
Crazy how many teams had a chance to win. The Ripper GC went from 9 back to leading by 2 to near the cellar again late in the day. It was so volatile, counting 4 scores. It was pretty nuts, but the Cleeks have been cellar dwellers for basically 2.5 seasons, and they come out victorious today. That's awesome.
It'll be the summer of the Cleeks, definitely. So, like I said, there's definitely more to come from us.
It was a magnificent ball striking performance.
Yeah, I got to speak to someone in his camp before he teed off this morning, and they said to me that he is finally feeling extremely comfortable out here. He's not thinking about any swing thought. He's going out there, he's swinging so freely, and it certainly showed today. The way he drove the ball, the way he hit his irons, and even in his putting as well.
Yeah, and lives in Texas, went to school in Texas. His tour win on the PGA Tour was here in Houston, which is Texas, and now his first live win, Texas.
Honestly, it was just a matter of playing solid coming down the stretch. I think there was a switch there on 15 that I made birdie, he made bogey, and I just knew that I had to power in pretty much, and it was mine. The 18 I made bogey, but it worked. He played unbelievable, and he put pressure all the way to the end, and it was a good battle. I love playing here. Obviously, Texas treats me well. It's my adopted home state, so I'm just happy to get it done again in Houston.
All right, welcome back. In-game live, prime time on the grid. We got baseball tonight. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sherapan. We got WNBA. Got a couple of games. We can put some shekels on with that. We got Black Clouds, and we got same-game parlays. Little SGP time. All right, old saying, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? So let's go right back to the same well last night. Dodgers and Rockies cashed a nice little 6-1 parlay for us, same game parlay. So Let's go right back to the Rockies and Dodgers once again. Right back on the Dodgers, laying 205 or so, depending on where you do your shopping. Laying 2-1. Won't fool around with laying a run and a half. We got lucky last night, so we won't do that. We're going to go Ohtani, who's batting leadoff now, as they mentioned before, with bets out, minus 350. I mean, this is just criminal, some of the odds they're giving us here, but what are you going to do? It's the Rockies. So Ohtani to score a run. Ohtani to get a hit, which is minus 550, which nobody in their right mind would bet that, as a single bet, but we'll throw it into parlay. Then we're going to go with Teoscar Hernandez, our boy, our hero. Opposite picks merchandise going out to Hernandez first thing tomorrow morning if he comes through again tonight. 2 RBIs plus 220. Yeah, you got to do it twice. Anybody can get lucky. 2 RBIs plus 220, and then 2 bases minus 155 for Teoscar Hernandez. I'm laying odds to get 2 bases. Again, criminal. Put it all together. Plus 468. We'll beat the boys in Vegas anyway.
I got to put on the listing glasses to make sure that I saw those prices right. Minus 550 to get a hit. I'm not sure I would bet on Ted Williams to get a hit back in the day at minus 550, or Tony Gwynn, somebody that hit 400. Like, that is incredible. What a price. And it didn't even phase you. You put it in the parlay anyway. Listen, you're not afraid of anything. I've seen this now. We've done the show long enough. If you like something, you put it in there. I like the fact that you went to the money line instead of the run line, because tonight may be one of those ones that you got away with one yesterday with the run line. It's probably not going to happen again today. So I see what you did. And I like you using Hernandez again. The fact that he doesn't get the merch until he does it twice. That's tough business right there. That's really tough.
Merch is very expensive. Very expensive stuff.
I understand.
Top quality.
Believe me. I understand.
Try shipping something from New York to L.A. as well. Cost you a fortune just for shipping. So
it's a lot. It is.
Yeah. Got to pay the price. So Teoscar, do it again. He's batting cleanup now, so his numbers have been a little adjusted.
You have Ohtani in there to get 1 hit, and the producers have Ohtani to get 2 hits. Worry you at all based on what's been happening with the producers' picks? Are you concerned about this at all?
I wasn't exactly thrilled when I saw the producer pick tonight, I must say, but I said, this is why they're producers and not hosts, because I saw the minus 550, right? And I said, that's crazy. So, so I said, all right, let me go to 2 hits. And then I saw that only minus 105. I'm like, minus 105? That's crazy. So, you know what?
Well,
I'll take the less payout.
So pricing a hit is very hard to do. Like, that was one of those things, like, as we started to offer these different markets, you have to try to figure out what is the price of a hit. And it's very difficult to do. So Ohtani, 4 at-bats to record a hits, minus 550. So to get 2, I would argue they didn't even get that bad of a price. Because if 1 hit is minus 550, you could argue that it should be minus 150 instead of minus 105. That's for the producers, boys. I got you right here. Me and Wetzel could not do what you guys do. If you asked me to push the buttons, we would be looking at different pictures, at different cameras and everything like that. Let me and you talk. Let the boys make sure the graphics run right. Everybody does their job, and we got ourselves a television show. Thank you, boys, for that. And let's go, Ohtani.
Ever see that in Colombo? The Colombo one, where I forget who murdered who in Colombo. But one of them was a TV producer, right? And at the end, she's hitting all these buttons. Everything you just said is exactly what happened in Colombo. Great scene. All these goofy different things are popping up on the TV screen.
Colombo is a tremendous television show that you can only find on Classics or On Demand. They don't have a clue what you're talking about, Wetzel. We need a year like 2000 reference. The Colombo reference is great for everybody over the age of 45.
Yeah, Peter Falk. Oh, great. With the one eye. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
One of the all-time best. One of the all-time best. All right. In-game live continues after this.
crazy how many teams had a chance to win. The Ripper GC went from 9 back to leading by 2 to near the cellar again late in the day. It was so volatile, counting 4 scores. It was pretty nuts, but you know, the cliques have been cellar dwellers for basically 2.5 seasons, and they come out victorious today. That's awesome.
I mean, the summer of the cliques, definitely. So, like I said, there's definitely more to come from us.
It was a magnificent ball striking performance.
Yeah, you know, I got to speak to someone in his camp before he teed off this morning, and they said to me that he is finally feeling extremely comfortable out here. He's not thinking about any swing thought. He's going out there, he's swinging so freely, and it certainly showed today. The way he drove the ball, the way he hit his irons, and even in his putting as well.
Yeah, and lives in Texas, went to school in Texas. His tour win on the PGA Tour was here in Houston, which is Texas, and now his first live win, Texas.
Honestly, it was just a matter of playing solid coming down the stretch. I think there was a switch there on 15 that I made birdie, he made bogey, and I just knew that I had to power in pretty much, and it was mine. The 18 I made bogeys, but it worked. He played unbelievable, and he put pressure all the way to the end, and it was a good battle. I love playing here. Obviously, Texas treats me well. It's my adopted home state, so I'm just happy to get it done again in Houston.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, prime time here on the grid. Hour number 132 past the hour. Scott Wetzel and Dave Scher. Pam, we got some baseball. We got a little WNBA. I'll look at some of the scores here in a second, Dave. But let's start from the top. Some of these games that are in progress right now. We got I was going to say the Indians. Got the Guardians, God forbid. 6-0 over the Seattle Mariners. You know, a little pop quiz. Who has the biggest lead in their respective division in baseball?
Well, now that you brought up that stat, it's either Cleveland or Seattle. How about that?
Exactly. Yeah, see, very smart. Exactly. If I asked that my wife, she would have gave a football team. The Seattle Mariners. I mean, how many people, if Vegas had a bet on that, which would be pretty cool, they should do that. Now that I think about that. Every month, the 1st of May, 1st of June, 1st of, August and everything else, July, who would have the biggest lead in their respective divisions? That'd be a pretty fun bet to do. But it is the Seattle Mariners.
That books do most wins in a month, and they do it at the beginning of the month. So you have action all month with one bet, and you can pick a couple different teams. You get big odds, and it's a way for a team to get hot like the Mets. If you had the Mets in June, you might be in the running to get the team with the most wins at a ridiculously good number. They were probably 40-1 or something like that to have the most wins. So that is a good bet. But quietly, Seattle has the biggest lead because that division is, like Charles Barkley would say, terrible. Terrible between Houston, Texas, the Angels, and the A's. When you put a K on the graphic behind their number, that means 1,000. So that's 40,000, meaning they're 400-1 to win the American League West, both the Angels and the A's. I never seen a number that big in June. So the Mariners, yes, they're a good baseball team. And Seattle people, don't come at me, please. I enjoy the Mariners. I got the Mariners stuff. I think they can actually win a division and win a playoff series this year as constructed. They're probably one good bat away from making a move. But, you just have to kind of show up sometimes and beat the teams in your division, and they're going to be way ahead because the other teams in the division are – every team on that list other than Seattle is a seller right now if you were doing buyers and sellers at the trade deadline.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. And at the beginning of the year, that was going to be considered one of the better divisions, right? I mean, you knew Oakland was going to be bad, but who knew about the LA Angels? So you say, okay, those guys got hurt, but they were going to be bad anyway. But okay, but you thought Texas and Houston and Seattle, you knew there were three really solid teams there, but not the case at all. I'd like to see Seattle be buyers, like really go get themselves a couple of really good bats because their bullpen's pretty good, starting pitching's pretty good. Their lineup, they can't hit their way out of a paper bag. They need some help for Rodriguez. And even Rodriguez is not exactly doing great. So they need a couple of bats.
You know who would look good in a Seattle uniform? We're just thinking out loud right now. Pete Alonso, the polar bear.
Ooh.
Mr. Met. Yeah. Sorry, Met fans, but that would be a big move. Put him in the middle of that lineup. Give me some power and ability to maybe move some runners around and do some stuff. That's what they need. They need a bopper just to kind of help the whole lineup where you at least know 3 or 4 times a game he's going to come up at least half the time with runners on base, and we can score runs and get that starting rotation a lead. I feel like this is nice to have them, they're trailing tonight. But when they get a lead, they're one of the teams that you can almost count on. Once you get to the 6th with a lead, they hold it. So they shorten the game like the old, the Yankees originated it back in the day with Wetland and Rivera and made a game a 6-inning game. If they were leading, it was a wrap. Seattle's one of those teams.
Baltimore 3-1. Good news, really bad news if you're a Stanky fan. Garrett Cole making his first start of the season after 3 rehab assignments. Has given up 3 runs. They're in the 5th inning. Baltimore 3-1, which is, I had the over 3.5 last night on the Oriole team run total because Nestor Cortez was on the hill for the Stanks and they only scored 2 runs, right? So me being stubborn, I said, you know what? You watch tonight with Garrett Cole on the hill. Watch him get 5 or 6 runs. So I bet the over team total again on Baltimore, and it's looking halfway decent as we got 3 in the top of the 5th inning.
Oh, for sure. No, this is one of those ones. One in the morning, I saw it, and I have a buddy like a Louis the Lip, like you like to call him. I call him Butchie, and he said, "Oh, they played the Orioles already at that big plus." Orioles 22-11 on the road versus the Yankees, who are really good at home, 23-10. And the Yankees starters have been great, 5-0 last 5 versus lefty starters. So it made sense, but I love to play on guys like Cole coming back off their first start. Like Cole, you play against him in this start, and you play on him on the next start. As long as he comes out healthy, Cole, at whatever price he is, Yankees, yes, remind me, put it on the list. We'll get back. We'll revisit it next. His next start is a play on. This one, play against.
Yeah, I like that too. I think they're a little cautious with these guys. So it's like even if they're pitching well, they're not going to let them throw 90 pitches coming off a DL spot, right? It's just not going to happen. So you have that benefit. That if he doesn't pitch well, you have that benefit. And as healthy as they can be, a lot of these guys need a starter too. So I kind of look for those spots, especially with good pitchers because the price is going to be jacked up, way higher than what it really should be. So plus 290 on the Yanks if you want to jump back in on them. My Red Sox 3-2 over Toronto. I was telling you in one of the breaks that they play well outside of like the lousy Red Sox teams, but they generally for whatever reason play well against the Blue Jays. Looking for a sweep. A 3-game road sweep, in fact, against Toronto tonight.
And Toronto's been favored every game. Makes sense. Small favorites at home, and you look at it and you go, all right, Gausman tonight, this will be the game that the Blue Jays win. And right now, not winning. Not out of the woods yet. I think you can get value on taking a 1.5 with the Blue Jays. The game's going to stay close. I think at some point they'll probably tie it, and you'll be sitting pretty. You'll be able to decide what to do. But, yeah, something's not right in Toronto, and it's just a lack of consistency, right? It's just some nights they get the good pitching and no hitting. Other nights they give up a lot of runs and they don't score enough to keep up. So good luck if you got Toronto tonight. That's going to be a sweat the rest of the way.
Yeah. Minnesota, Tampa Bay. You know, the Twinkies, very quietly, it's 1-1. You get Minnesota. Tampa Bay's got a couple of runners on fourth inning, but you can get Minnesota minus 125, 128 right now on FanDuel. They've quietly won 8 of their last 9, 6 in a row. Tampa Bay is 9-17 their last 26 games. I think it's going to be disaster season for Tampa Bay. I really do. You know, Minnesota at home, 21-8 their last 29 home games. So, you want to give me Minnesota minus 120? I'll take a stab on them at home.
If
Joe
Cleveland wasn't playing so good, Minnesota would be one of the stories of the American League. They're playing. They had a nice success last season and consistently just doing it. They're showing up like a team like Tampa used to, right? You wake up in August and you're like, geez, the Twins are 4 games ahead of everybody for a wild card spot and 1 game behind somebody for the division or whatever, or they're leading the division by 4. One of those teams that like nobody really pays attention to until it's time to really get serious end of August, early September. I like Minnesota. Good baseball team.
Yeah. They kind of got over that hump a little bit, winning one of those playoff series that they had so many issues with. So, no runs, Houston and the White Sox. They've suggested the under first 5. So far, no score, bottom of the second. Yep. Interesting. Hunter Brown on the hill for the Astros. He's been bad this year, but so far, through 1 anyway for him. 5.5 is your in-game total on that game. That's it. All right, in-game live continues here in a moment.
Crazy how many teams had a chance to win. The Ripper GC went from 9 back to leading by 2 to near the cellar again late in the day. It was so volatile, counting 4 scores. It was pretty nuts, but the Cliques have been cellar dwellers for basically 2.5 seasons, and they come out victorious today. That's awesome.
It'll be the summer of the Cliques, definitely. So, like I said, there's definitely more to come from us.
It was a magnificent ball striking performance.
Yeah, I got to speak to someone in his camp before he teed off this morning, and they said to me that he is finally feeling extremely comfortable out here. He's not thinking about any swing thought. He's going out there, he's swinging so freely, and it certainly showed today. The way he drove the ball, the way he hit his irons, and even in his putting as well.
Yeah, and lives in Texas, went to school in Texas. His tour win on the PGA Tour was here in Houston, which is Texas, and now his first live win, Texas.
Honestly, it was just a matter of playing solid coming down the stretch. I think there was a switch there on 15 that I made birdie, he made bogey, and I just knew that I had to power in pretty much, and it was mine. The 18 I made bogeys, but it worked. He played unbelievable, and he put pressure all the way to the end, and it was a good battle. I love playing here. Obviously, Texas treats me well. It's my adopted home state, so I'm just happy to get it done again in Houston.
And welcome back, In-Game Live, prime time here on the grid. Hour number 144 past the hour. Scott Wetzel and Dave Sherapan. So, got a little baseball tonight, a little WNBA we'll check out. And we will have Game 6 NHL Stanley Cup Finals on Friday. Unfortunately, not tomorrow, but it is what it is. We got to wait another day for Game 6. 3 days between Games 5 and 6 because the Florida Panthers lose last night, Dave, 5-3. Cut it to 4-3 early third period, so they definitely had their chances. But they couldn't score the tying goal. They get an empty netter. Connor McDavid scores twice, certainly improving his Conn Smythe chances, especially if Edmonton wins. And we got ourselves a Game 6. So our S&W Corporation 3-team, 3-league championship parlay all set to pop the champagne last night. And we got to keep it in the cooler, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So we still need to get one more circle, one more check.
The good thing is that we didn't wheel it out and put it in the locker room and get it all set up because we were trailing the whole game. So It's fine. It's okay. It doesn't mean that they have to win. They're not going to win. Edmonton played a really good game yesterday. They were more physical. Skinner made some big saves when he had to. They got a lead. McDavid was McDavid. I mean, he was fantastic yesterday. And I don't know, he became the Conn Smythe favorite where he was not going to win it unless they won the game, to now the talk is that even if they lose a close game in Game 6, I don't know who can win it. The Oilers are favored, Scott. They're favored in the game for the first time, which, again, that's fine. This is what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to go home and win. And I'm good with the day off in between, an extra day off. That's a long flight back and forth, the furthest apart the two teams have been that competed for the Stanley Cup. The series price is down to minus 360, plus 280. It was minus 1,200 2 days ago. It was minus 700 yesterday before the game. Now it's minus 360. I feel like if you were going to grab the Oilers, it's a little tough to take 280 now, isn't it, after we could have taken 7-1, right?
Yeah. I'm not going to do it. This is where my Polish German kicks in. I'm going to be stubborn. And I hedge on everything. I could have a $5 bet that's going to cash, and I'll hedge, right? Principle, I hedge at least enough to cover my initial bet. And you know what?
Right. Yeah.
I'm not doing it. If we have a team in the Stanley Cup Finals blow a 3-0 series lead for the first time in, 80 years? 1940 or so, I think it was?
Yeah, 42.
I'm not doing it. You know what? I'll go down with the ship. I'll be the captain holding on to that steering wheel saying, see you later, boys. My ticket is being washed away.
Can't we just do it in Game 7? Like, let's wait until Game 7 if we need to in Game 7. We'll take a plus. We'll get plus 150. I mean, just for the time, for the sweat. I mean, we've had this graphic up for the S&W Corporation bet since before March Madness. I mean, we picked this thing before March Madness. This is a long time that this file has existed. These pictures have been up. We took some serious time to come up with this. We got to get something for our time, no? You're that stubborn?
I'm not stubborn. The only way I would hedge is the wrong way, but I would hedge if Florida jumped out to like a 2-0 or maybe even 1-0 Game 7. I won't hedge Game 6 at all. Not at all. Game 7, Florida goes up 1-0 in the first, and all of a sudden, Edmonton's like plus 450. I might hedge then a little bit, but otherwise. You know why? Because I already counted this money as winning. I committed the mortal betting sin of all gamblers. The biggest sin you could possibly commit for a gambler.
Yep.
I counted it as a winner already. I already know what I'm doing with the money, where it's going. I got future bets I want to put on other parlays and football, and so I can't do it.
I know. You told me you scheduled the car for the maintenance. You're out looking at new trucks and all these other things. Yep. I know what you're doing, but you can't do that until you know that it's cashed. Like it is a cardinal rule.
It was 3-0. It should have been over. 3-0 Florida against one of the biggest choke teams in the history of the NHL. I mean, how can they not win Game 4 or Game 5? Game 4, okay. How could they not win last night? I mean, that's inexcusable. I mean,
you better not bang on that table again. We're all going to get in trouble if you bang on that table again. I know you're very frustrated.
That was a real bang.
Now. Take a deep breath.
That wasn't a
tick
bang. That was a real bang.
That was. I know you got upset It's very upsetting. It was 3-0. It was time to, think about, putting that money into something else. And, you were talking about some WNBA and some other things. And I know what you're doing. I mean, this is what we do. People that gamble, you get the money and you're like, I can put this towards that. Then I can get the car fixed. Maybe we'll, take an extra day on vacation. If we go up to the Cape or we go out to, the island and go to the beach, we'll order the shrimp instead of, the buffet. I get it all. I've done it. I've lived it. I've seen it. Believe me, I was in the book when the Falcons were up 28-3 and people had the Falcons bets and they were all going, boy, oh boy, they were ordering, they were going to the strip club. They were already making reservations at the steak places in town. I'm like, guys, this second half here, it's still the Patriots. Like, calm down. I was telling everybody. I was telling them all. I was at a VIP party at the Cosmopolitan down on the Strip. And you can't imagine how people left that party. Like, they were distraught. Talk about spending money they didn't have. Oh.
That's a second half. That's a second half you got to watch again just to see, like, how did they do this again? How did they blow? And it was like fourth quarter, too. How did Matt Ryan not, complete a couple of passes?
Just run the ball. Right? All you got to do is run the ball, run the clock.
Yeah. Ridiculous. Unbelievable. 28-3. By the way, speaking of which, real quickly, did you see the Super Bowl ring? They had a typo on the Super Bowl ring for the Kansas City Chiefs. I'll tell you about that when we come back. It's crazy. Crazy.
Crazy how many teams had a chance to win. The Ripper GC went from 9 back to leading by 2 to near the cellar again late in the day. It was so volatile, counting 4 scores. It was pretty nuts, but the cliques have been cellar dwellers for basically 2.5 seasons, and they come out victorious today. That's awesome.
It'll be the summer of the cliques, definitely. So, like I said, there's definitely more to come from us.
It was a magnificent ball striking performance.
Yeah, I got to speak to someone in his camp before he teed off this morning, and they said to me that he is finally feeling extremely comfortable out here. He's not thinking about any swing thought. He's going out there, he's swinging so freely, and it certainly showed today. The way he drove the ball, the way he hit his irons, and even in his putting as well.
Yeah, and lives in Texas, went to school in Texas. His tour win on the PGA Tour was here in Houston, which is Texas, and now his first live win, Texas.
Honestly, it was just a matter of playing solid coming down the stretch. I think there was a switch there on 15 that I made birdie, he made bogey, and I just knew that I had to power in pretty much, and it was mine. The 18 I made bogey, but it worked. He played unbelievable, and he put pressure all the way to the end, and it was a good battle. I love playing here. Obviously, Texas treats me well. It's my adopted home state, so I'm just happy to get it done again in Houston.
All right, welcome back. It is In-Game Live Prime Time here on The Grid. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sherapan. A couple things to get to before we get to the top of the hour and start it all over again, including our Black Cloud Play of the Night. All right, really, to me, this is just a no-brainer. I know the weather apparently is not great in Colorado, but that's okay. We've hit a ton of runs in bad weather games, and that's going to be Dodgers over 10.5 against Colorado. combined runs, 11 runs, Dave. 5 of the last meetings in Colorado have had 11 runs or more, including 20 last night. Both bullpens shot from last night. The Rockies pitchers capable of giving up 11 runs. Ryan Feltner all by himself. He stinks. He's 1-6. Yet to win in his home starts. Dodgers got a guy coming off the IL. Don't know, and Miller, you don't know how he's going to pitch, and he's probably not going to go long. Dodger bullpen's not great. So, outside of the wind blowing, 100 miles an hour in, I'm not sure how they're not going to get to 11 runs tonight. So give me over 10.5. Team total on the Dodgers was a consideration, but it was 6.5, which, they're probably going to have to get over 10.5 runs, but I don't like asking for 7 runs from one team. Give me the over 10.5.
Fair. Yeah. You got a good number. That's good. It is the bottom of the first right now. 2 out. Rockies have 2 runners on. Quick update. Ohtani's 0 for 1. He did not get a hit in his first at-bat in the top of the first. So does the fact that they scored all those runs last night worry you at all? Like, do you usually get a softball game type score after a softball game type score? In Colorado, I would argue that, yes, you would be more likely to do that. But does that worry you? It always used to have old guys in a book go, you know what? They scored all those runs this day. They're not going to score that many runs the next day. You're not even afraid of that at all.
Yeah, not in Colorado. I generally adhere to that type of thinking, but it's got to be like 11-1 in a blowout or something crazy. This was not like 11 runs for the Dodgers anyway, spread out through the game. It was all against, a couple of relievers in the 9th inning. So, man, it's the Dodgers. So, not too worried. If it was 11.5, 12, maybe, but 7-4, 8-3. I think that's doable tonight. Any kind of luck, especially like I said with Feltner. If they don't get 5-6 runs in the first few innings, over first 5 would have been a pretty good. So I don't go to that market too often, but that might have been a better play than maybe over the 10.5. But I stuck with the 10.5.
Hit it. I think we need a noise right now. This is what we're going to do. No, but we got a 3-run homer for the Rockies in the bottom of the first. So just like that on cue, those 2 runners scored. That's it. Here we go. So we'll use the goal horn until we get a crack of the bat noise, something like that. Good start for the Black Cloud play of the night. What is the in-game number? Because it was just 9.5 a second ago. Now, I think we're back up, to 12?
11.5, minus 130 on FanDuel.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Astros 1-0, by the way, over the White Sox.
Yes, sir.
And Baltimore scored their 4th run against Garrett Cole, or at least the Stanks, over 3.5 Baltimore hits. Nice.
Boy, things are really looking good. Things are looking nice.
Yeah,
I like it. All right. Yes, sir.
So let me tell you about this Super Bowl ring before we close out the first hour, right?
Please.
So the Bird Brains designed a $40,000 ring, right? And I'm guessing they probably, 100 rings, 55, 60 for players, probably another 40 for, managers, GMs, dignitaries, but, right?
Yeah.
Right, at least, right? I mean, I don't know how many they do, but it's got to be about 100. Let's say it's 100, nice and easy. That's $4 million. $4 million. So on the ring, Dave, they wrote down, for some goofy reason, all the scores of the playoff games this year for Kansas City. And they wrote the seed that they played. So they didn't spell out Miami. They wrote the seed. They didn't spell out Baltimore and San Francisco, right? So they wrote down number 7 for Miami's game. Miami was the 6th seed, not the 7th seed.
Oh.
So is it egregious? No, but is it stupid? I mean, really? No one double-checked that?
Are they redoing the rings, or they get rings with the 7? That's it.
For 40
That's what
million,
you get.
for 40,000, you're getting the 7. You're getting the 7. 3-6 7 doesn't match up.
Wow. Right? Yeah, you know who the 7 seed was? Thanks for reminding me. The Steelers.
Your Pittsburgh Steelers.
Smoke
Steelers. Oops.
crazy how many teams had a chance to win. The Ripper GC went from 9 back to leading by 2 to near the cellar again late in the day. It was so volatile, counting 4 scores. It was pretty nuts, but you know, the cliques have been cellar dwellers for basically 2.5 seasons, and they come out victorious today. That's awesome.
It'll be the summer of the cliques, definitely. So, like I said, there's definitely more to come from us.
It was a magnificent ball striking performance.
Yeah, you know, I got to speak to someone in his camp before he teed off this morning, and they said to me that he is finally feeling extremely comfortable out here. He's not thinking about any swing thought. He's going out there, he's swinging so freely, and it certainly showed today. The way he drove the ball, the way he hit his irons, and even in his putting as well.
Yeah, and lives in Texas, went to school in Texas. His tour win on the PGA Tour was here in Houston, which is Texas, and now his first live win, Texas.
Honestly, it was just a matter of playing solid coming down the stretch. I think there was a switch there on 15 that I made birdie, he made bogey, and I just knew that I had to power in pretty much, and it was mine. The 18 I made bogey, but it worked. He played unbelievable, and he put pressure all the way to the end, and it was a good battle. I love playing here. Obviously, Texas treats me well. It's my adopted home state, so I'm just happy to get it done again in Houston.
And welcome in. It's In-Game Live, prime time, hour number 2 of our 2-hour extravaganza. Scott Wetzel and Dave Sherpan for the next 60 minutes as we look and watch and bet on the world of baseball, little WNBA, 3-team, 3-league championship parlay we're discussing here as well with the NHL Stanley Cup Finals off until Friday, but still touching on that a little bit. We got Cam Stewart joining us in about 45 minutes or so, and then we have Rob Donaldson from Fantasy Underdog joining us in about 10-15 minutes. We'll go over some baseball plays with him. So let us check the board here, Dave. Anything just from a general standpoint, baseball-wise, stand out for you so far tonight?
Well, the Mets were trailing 1-0, and I was just going to say, I got the Mets stuff on, and I like the Mets prior to the game starting, and they just scored, so now it's 1-1, and they are back to being a small favorite. They were a nice plus before. It's instantaneous as it happens. So that was the one I was looking at. We're rooting the Black Cloud in. We just did that over in the Dodger game. That's good. There's 2 games left that haven't started, and Kansas City and Oakland's one of them. I feel like we got away with one yesterday and had Oakland. Tonight might be the Royals' night. It's an overwhelming favorite on the Smart Moves MLB projection. They're 62% for a road favorite, but Reagan's has been good, and the A's strike out a lot, so might be one of those nights where you get the Royals and he cruises 6+ innings, maybe his total outs over, something like that. The other game, I don't know. It looks so easy to take the Brewers. I looked at it and went, geez, how do you not have the Brewers tonight? And then you look at the price, and it just keeps going up, and it ke38 going up. 66% to win, Wetzel.
Wow.
You want to take a shot with the Angels tonight? I mean, 38-32-1 to the over for the Brewers. The Angels 38-34-1 to the over. Maybe it's Brewers and over tonight.
Yeah, it's tough, right? You got 2 monster road favorites in these late games, Milwaukee and Kansas City. Both pretty good teams. I can live with laying that kind of wood with Milwaukee. Laying $1.70. What is it officially on FanDuel right now? $1 with Kansas City. $1.80 right? With Kansas City.
Yeah, $1.80.
See, I didn't do that. You know what I did with this one? I went with the over 3.5 run, and I don't play these markets very often. I say that all the time, but it's true. Over 3.5 runs first 5 innings for Kansas City and Oakland. Just because this guy Medina, Medina pitching for the A's. The Oakland A's are 5-21 in his 26 starts this year and last year, including 0-3 this year. 5-21. He is just awful, right? A's have lost 31 of 41. They're playing lousy. Again, though, it all goes back. I can't lay $180. I don't want to lay a 1.5. So if I think that Medina's going to be awful, let me go over 3.5 runs. Let's say we get 1 run out of Oakland, right? So we only need 3 runs against Medina in 5 innings for Kansas City. I think that's the way to go if you want to lower your odds.
A little more of a gamble because you shorten the game. You know, I mean, that would be terrible to go under that. And then in the 6th, they score 4 runs, and you're like, oh, man, really? I said it yesterday. Just had that feel. Oakland yesterday, Kansas City today. So it's Kansas City or pass. That's it.
How about a Kansas City-Milwaukee parlay? That's the public. That's the PP, right? That's the PP. Public parlay.
Yep. Public parlay.
Plus 140. It's not bad. You're getting decent odds. I thought it would be close to pick'em, but it's well over that. Obviously, can you get both? But what are the odds of both of these favorites covering or winning?
I mean, if you want to get crazy, add the Dodgers plus 2.5 while they're down, and put the Dodgers in there, getting 2.5. You could do that. The in-game stuff is so much fun. Right? Here we go. He's trying to lean at that. Let's get a run or 2 here. Actually, 3 would be good and get the Dodgers back. 6 runs in the first couple innings would be great, right?
Gonna ask, might as well ask for a grand slam, right? If you're gonna do the asking,
too much.
Might as well put it on the Christmas
Too
list.
much. Ask for a double. Ask for a double. Bases clearing double. Yeah, because
how's that boy Ohtani? He's got to be on base, right? Ohtani's got to be on base.
Oh,
is he not?
Here we go.
Let's see.
Let's see.
He's got him.
I don't know.
Box score. I'm telling you, this felt.
He's still 0 for 1. He's still 0 for 1.
Who the hell's on base? They got the bases loaded. How can he be one of the guys on base? They got no hits. But they got like 2 hits.
A lot of walks. 2 hits, a lot of walks.
Hernandez singled. Ohtani fouled out to third. Producer's black cloud is coming on strong. That was his first at bat.
Yeah, that was his first at bat. Relax. We're going to get another one. Well, this is good. With all these runners, we're going to get multiple at bats. I mean, if we get 2 at bats in the first 2 innings, it means he's going to hit 5 times. We got a shot at 2 hits.
Right. Let's get 1. We'll worry about the 5. Oh, Ohtani's batting with the bases loaded. How about that?
Here we go.
Can Shohei Ohtani live up to his $500 million contract with the pressure of the producer's pick? And yours truly part of a Black Cloud or same game parlay, actually. Can he live up to this hype?
This scene in My Cousin Vinny where,
great movie.
Miss Vito was saying all this stuff, and finally, Vinny said, "You're piling all this stuff on. Is there anything else we could pile on right now? You piled on the $1 billion contract, all this other stuff, and the producer's pick. How about just let him go the other way? Just get a base hit, just knock in a couple runs. That's all. Stop putting all that stuff on him, please."
2 outs too. Can't even get the sack fly for the RBI.
Oh, no sack fly possibilities. No. Uh-oh.
But lay down a little
Something
bunt.
Just
little
happened.
bunt. Little bunt single.
Something just
got to be
happened.
playing back. Uh-oh.
Guess what just happened?
Grounded out. He probably grounded out.
Nope. You ask for a double, you get a double. A bases clearing double. Vinny,
really?
Give me the horn.
Oh.
Give me the horn, Vinny.
Cha-ching, cha-ching.
Thank you. Ask for a double, you get a double. You didn't need to ask for a home run. Bases clearing double, 3-3, in-game number 14.5. Wetzel, the Black Cloud.
Wow.
We could have Black Cloud before sundown out here in Vegas. This would be outstanding. Things are looking good tonight, boys. This is a hell of a Wednesday night. This is good stuff.
And I tell you, they actually weren't getting very much. You know, when they were down 3-0, now I saw it with at least one runner on, but it was only like plus 160 or so. They weren't getting like 250, 260, you know, even down 3-zip.
What did you think was going to happen? You know the boys doing the game know the Dodgers are going to come back. Like, we can't, as the book guy, we can't just give the money away. We're going to make you wait. We can't just give it a price. Come on. You know better than that.
Yeah. I guess, but no, you like to think you'd get 2-1 down 3-0.
Nope,
right?
Can't do it. Nope,
but not happening.
Not doing it.
No, so that's why Dodgers scored again, 4-3. Freddie Freeman coming through. Keep this Feltner dude in the game, will you please, Colorado? Just keep him in the game.
You know who scored the run, though? You know who scored the fourth run? The guy that hit the double was standing on second base. So Ohtani's got a run score. Hello. Same game.
I got a couple of mine now. I got a couple that I could check off. How about that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Could we go 2 for 2 with our same game parlays? Like taking candy from a baby. Beautiful.
Crazy how many teams had a chance to win. The Ripper GC went from 9 back to leading by 2 to near the cellar again late in the day. It was so volatile, counting 4 scores. It was pretty nuts, but you know, the Cliques have been cellar dwellers for basically 2.5 seasons, and they come out victorious today. That's awesome.
It'll be the summer of the Cliques, definitely. So, like I said, there's definitely more to come from us.
It was a magnificent ball striking performance.
Yeah, you know, I got to speak to someone in his camp before he teed off this morning, and they said to me that he is finally feeling extremely comfortable out here. He's not thinking about any swing thought. He's going out there, he's swinging so freely, and it certainly showed today. The way he drove the ball, the way he hit his irons, and even in his putting as well.
Yeah, and lives in Texas, went to school in Texas. His tour win on the PGA Tour was here in Houston, which is Texas, and now his first live win, Texas.
Honestly, it was just a matter of playing solid coming down the stretch. I think there was a switch there on 15 that I made birdie, he made bogey, and I just knew that I had to power in pretty much, and it was mine. The 18 I made bogeys, but it worked. He played unbelievable, and he put pressure all the way to the end, and it was a good battle. I love playing here. Obviously, Texas treats me well. It's my adopted home state, so I'm just happy to get it done again in Houston.
All right, welcome back. In-game live, prime time here on the grid, having some fun, looking to cash some tickets, keep those Dodger runs coming. And now we need to kind of flip the batting order and get Hernandez to get us a couple of RBIs, and we'll be all set for sure. Pat, cash a little 4.5 to 1 parlay. So let's do a little baseball talk. Check out with Rob Donaldson, who joins us now, does from time to time. UnderdogFantasy.com. Check out his website. I think it's his, UnderdogFantasy.com, where you get all your little fantasy needs, which is a beautiful thing. And he joins us now. What's going on, Rob? How are you today, bud?
Hey, I'm doing well, boys. And we got some day baseball today, which is always a great time. I mean, I'm working half the day, but at the same time, it's nice to know that something's going on in the sports world, especially with this sport.
Oh, for sure. And there were some interesting games today. There's some interesting games tonight. I wore the Mets, the black fit, and you happened to, look at the Mets game too. And we just quickly said during the break, what do you got with the Mets game tonight? And hopefully it's Mets and over. That's what we need.
Yeah, that's so I was kind of leaning Mets in the under in total, and I took the money line on the Mets as my only actual bet on the game. And okay. I mean, that's playing out exactly kind of how I thought. I thought, last inning, the Mets had a shot to kind of put some more runs up on the board, but certainly liked kind of a lot of the matchups against Andrew Heaney. And I also liked how fresh the Mets bullpen was. It wasn't really tasked. And that's a bullpen that has been very, very bad. But when they are not kind of feeling it, they can perform at least at a decent level.
What, a Rangers that really, is this a pro-Mets play or an anti-Rangers play, Rob, or a combination of the two? Because the Mets are going for their 8th straight win. Rangers have lost 5 in a row. This Texas team, for me, is quickly becoming just a go-against team no matter who they're playing.
I do think the Mets are starting to play some better baseball, but I also think the Rangers potentially could get there real fast. There's a lot of underlying numbers that's kind of pointing to an upwards trajectory with them. At the same time, this was just kind of a spot for the Mets, and that's where I've kind of found my most value, I guess, is when they're coming off of a loss or coming off of a bad game, just kind of being able to bounce back when they do have, a fresher bullpen at they're ready, and also a guy on the bump that I think can go 5 or 6, and that's kind of what the Mets need to be competitive in any game.
All right, so coming back on a team after a bad game, the Astros lost to the Chicago White Sox yesterday 2-0. And one of those situations, they're leading tonight 2-1, but what are your thoughts on the Astros going forward? Because that division, the team with the biggest lead in baseball is the Seattle Mariners in the American League West. That division looks like a mess, and so do the Astros, don't they?
Yeah, and one of my takes throughout the season was that, the Astros I felt like we're going to be sellers based on some of the age of their guys that are kind of key players in their lineup and their rotation. And also, they just shipped off Jose Abreu and just said, hey, there's no trade value even here anymore. So we're just going to cut you loose. And now Verlander's on the IR. And so the talks of him going back to Detroit when Detroit was kind of rolling are now just stale. And Christian Javier is also on the IL as well, that rotation. And my biggest thing with the Astros is that for a long time, they were just kind of living off of the guys that kind of built up through the system. And I think it's biting them this season where the rotation is just not performing.
And you got a surprise team in the National League that might be, you think, buyers at the trade deadline.
Yeah, they got to turn it around a little bit faster here, but I do think they're a team that could easily rattle off 8 out of 10, for example. And it starts with that rotation, man. Frankie Montas has kind of been up and down, but his underlying numbers are pointing to a lot of success later in the season. Hunter Green, very much the same. His underlying numbers look like he's an ace. Grant Ashcraft is keeping the ball down. He's keeping runs off the board. And Nick Lodolo is another great pitcher. I mean, that's 4 guys that I think have upsides to potentially be 1s and 2s at some point in their career, whether or not it's this season or next. And throughout their lineup, man, they've got guys who can run. They've got guys who can hit. And yeah, they do strike out and don't really kind of work the pitch counts against opposing pitchers. But man, eventually as that kind of season goes on, that youth starts to play a little bit more experienced. And I'm looking forward to it.
You know who the Reds lost to today, right? The Pittsburgh Pirates. It's nighttime in Pittsburgh. Behind me, Rob. And listen, the Pirates, just give it to me straight. Like Skeens pitches, they win. Keller pitches, they win. The other 3 days, it's a little iffy. But the NL Central, it's not a done deal that Milwaukee's going to win it. Or the Pirates, you give them any shot to even get in the wild card possibility?
I would be very, very pessimistic about a wild card, but to your point, I think it's one of those teams that, yeah, they never are going to really feel like they're in the playoff race, but man, they can pick off on any given night. And those are the teams that I think hold a ton of value because they're going to be catching like plus 170 against the Dodgers. And, still even against a team like the Braves, which is a big name, they might be catching plus 150 or plus 140. And yeah, to your point, they only have a handful of guys you can trust. I think Jared Jones is one of those fringe guys that you can kind of trust on from a sometime game by game type basis. But at the same time, those are guys who give you a shot. And it's also a lineup that kind of gives you a shot as well.
All right, big question, Rob, is will the PP come through tonight? The public parlay. Milwaukee on the road laying $1.84, and then Kansas City laying $1.80 at Oakland. Is there any reason why we can't play Milwaukee and Kansas City in a parlay?
Well, I do love Kansas City a lot, especially if you're kind of parlaying that like minus 180, minus 175 angle. And when you're also kind of looking at that Brewers game, man, it's Tyler Anderson's kind of polarizing because his underlying numbers are not good, but he's kept runs off board, and eventually I do think that's going to bite him. So is it this game? Maybe. I kind of like the Brewers there, but it is up in the air on that particular matchup for me.
Yeah. It's not easy laying the $1.80 on the road with anybody, let alone Kansas City or Milwaukee, right? Man, that's really it's tough. Check out his website, UnderdogFantasy.com. Rob Donaldson joining us from time to time. Rob, great job as always. Let's root on the Mets tonight.
Let's go Mets.
Yes, sir. Let's go Mets.
There you go. All right, in-game live prime time continues here on the Grid after this.
Crazy how many teams had a chance to win. The Ripper GC went from 9 back to leading by 2 to near the cellar again late in the day. It was so volatile, counting 4 scores. It was pretty nuts, but the cliques have been cellar dwellers for basically 2.5 seasons, and they come out victorious today. That's awesome.
To be the summer of the cliques, definitely. So, like I said, there's definitely more to come from us.
It was a magnificent ball striking performance.
Yeah, I got to speak to someone in his camp before he teed off this morning, and they said to me that he is finally feeling extremely comfortable out here. He's not thinking about any swing thought. He's going out there, he's swinging so freely, and it certainly showed today. The way he drove the ball, the way he hit his irons, and even in his putting as well.
Yeah, and lives in Texas, went to school in Texas. His tour win on the PGA Tour was here in Houston, which is Texas, and now his first live win, Texas.
Honestly, it was just a matter of playing solid coming down the stretch. I think there was a switch there on 15 that I made birdie, he made bogey, and I just knew that I had to power in pretty much, and it was mine. The 18 I made bogey, but it worked. He played unbelievable, and he put pressure all the way to the end, and it was a good battle. I love playing here. Obviously, Texas treats me well. It's my adopted home state, so I'm just happy to get it done again in Houston.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, prime time here on the Grid. Thanks again, Rob Donaldson, joining us there. Check out the website, UnderdogFantasy.com. So his big play tonight, the New York Mets, who are tied at 1. Got a couple of WNBA games, Dave. One just ended not that long ago anyway. Indiana and Caitlin Clark knock off the Washington Mystics for at least the second time this season. Yep. And they cover, laying 5.5 or so, 6. They win by 7, 88-81. Caitlin Clark, 18 points. Still waiting for that monster 35. You know, I don't know if he's ever going to get 40, but, you know, we're waiting for that monster Caitlin Clark game. You know, not a bad game tonight. You know, 18 points. She was plus 12. She's usually negative. 6 more turnovers. She's a turnover machine still, but 12 rebounds, 6 assists. They get the win. So over 17,000, another sellout crowd in Indiana.
It's an event every time she plays, even on the road. But the home games are unbelievable. I mean, I watched the game on Sunday on network television, and it was a 9 o'clock Pacific start. It was perfect time, and I watched that game in the morning and then watched the U.S. Open. That's how I kind of spent my Father's Day. I'm intrigued by the whole thing. And from somebody who used to do the numbers and take the bets and stuff, there's a market for it. It's usually a pretty sharp market. And the numbers talk about, you know, chasing steam and things like that. We talked about it on Bostonian versus the Book, which will be on here on Sports Grid tonight. You've talked about WNBA for 2 years now. You're one of the guys, you know, here at the network that has embraced it and watches it and has angles and plays. I think there's money to be made in all this stuff, but there's especially money to be made there. That's their second cover in a row. It's the first time they were dogs. No, they were 4-point favorites on the road or at home. It was on the road, I think, at the Mystics. So you saw the adjustment today. I think there'll be a bet on until the numbers really catch up. You know, they've been undervalued before, and now, you know, they're going to get back to – I mean, they were overvalued before. They were a little undervalued now. So it'll catch up. But that game tonight, I looked at it and said, I hope Bledsoe has something. Like, I really don't know what to do with Storm and Aces tonight. I mean –
big game.
We may have to return. Like, this is tough. There's been a lot of line movement. Last night, I was watching it. Some places had it 4.5. It went up to 5.5, 6, bounced back down to 5. It's been all over the place. I just hit refresh on my screen. It's 7. I don't know what to do with this game. Yeah.
You know, you don't know what you're getting out of the Aces, right? I'm about to hit their team under total. They're 6-6. I only need 2 more losses. You know, the season's a month old. You know, their under total was 32.5, so I didn't think they would go 32-8 this year.
Wow.
Or 32, 32-8. So, yeah, I just need 33.5. Anyway, it's a couple losses. They lost to Seattle a couple weeks ago. Worst performance of the season. At home, lost by double digits. So if you forget about it's the WNBA, forget about its women, forget about its basketball, forget about its anything, just the scenario. Defending champs getting embarrassed on their home court 2 weeks ago by this same team they're now facing. That's like a play on. If you say, well, I don't follow the WNBA or anything along those lines, Scott, you know, okay, that's cool, but it's a situational play, right? Bet on the team that got trashed by this same team just a couple of weeks ago. Season low points, I think it was 65 points. That was 78-65, something like that. So, but it's hard. They're not playing well, you know, the Aces. I like the over. I think we're going to get a ton of points in this game, even though the first time was a low-scoring game.
The over steamed up, too. I got it right here. The Storm are 8-2 in their last 10. They average 85 points a game. The Aces are 4-6 in their last 10, and they average 86 points a game. 86 and 85, guess what that adds up to? Even for the math guys. I know you're good at the math. 171. You see what the total is?
172.5? 172, something like that?
Yeah. How about that? People ask, how do you make lines? Sometimes it's just a math problem, you know, and you let people bet it. So we'll have something to look at after we get done with the show. Morency and Cam will be on, probably talking about this. We got Cam coming up after the next segment. He's going to have golf. Did you look at the golf at all? Is it a letdown after the U.S. Open?
Oh, big letdown. Big letdown. Especially knowing that I could have won, you know, if I was playing at the Open. I just didn't qualify. I mean, with these guys walking off the course basically in tears. Yeah, I mean, absolutely it's a letdown. So, we'll see what Cam's got for this week's picks. Coming up next.
crazy how many teams had a chance to win. The Ripper GC went from 9 back to leading by 2 to near the cellar again late in the day. It was so volatile, counting 4 scores. It was pretty nuts, but you know, the Cliques have been cellar dwellers for basically 2.5 seasons, and they come out victorious today. That's awesome.
Be the summer of the Cliques, definitely. So, like I said, there's definitely more to come from us.
It was a magnificent ball striking performance.
Yeah, you know, I got to speak to someone in his camp before he teed off this morning, and they said to me that he is finally feeling extremely comfortable out here. He's not thinking about any swing thought. He's going out there, he's swinging so freely, and it certainly showed today. The way he drove the ball, the way he hit his irons, and even in his putting as well.
Yeah, and lives in Texas, went to school in Texas. His tour win on the PGA Tour was here in Houston, which is Texas, and now his first live win, Texas.
Honestly, it was just a matter of playing solid coming down the stretch. I think there was a switch there on 15 that I made birdie, he made bogey, and I just knew that I had to power in pretty much, and it was mine. The 18 I made bogey, but it worked. He played unbelievable, and he put pressure all the way to the end, and it was a good battle. I love playing here. Obviously, Texas treats me well. It's my adopted home state, so I'm just happy to get it done again in Houston.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, prime time here on the grid. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan, last half hour, 32 past the hour. Looking at a little baseball as the Metsies have taken the lead. The Red Sox continue to pound the Toronto Blue Jays. The Orioles continue to pile on the New York Yankees. And we need some more runs. We got a little pregnant pause here with the Dodgers and Colorado Rockies. Just some of the games that we're looking at. We got 2 more starting. So let us go to our guy Cam Stewart, get some golf picks with him, some baseball picks, and even a little Stanley Cup Game Final 6 for Friday as well. I'm sure he's got some thoughts on that. What's going on, Cam? How are you tonight, bud?
Wetzel, yeah, just watching this Blue Jays. Time to you fade these guys. Boston's hot, Dave. We talked about it. These guys are just amazing, and anytime I see a reliever come in, just instantly bet the over. They can't get anybody out. This guy right now, he's sweating more than me. He just stepped out on there, and here comes Big John Stud. He's got a new arm there. Time for somebody else. Somebody else get out there. Do your thing. Anyway, how are you guys? Yeah, this hockey series is getting crazy. I don't know what the hell to do, Dave. Scott, I got Florida in 6, so kind of got to wait for that game. But if they lose that game, I gotta saw it off though, Scott. If the Oilers win this game, I have a lot of money on Florida in the series too. So I got to think about Plan B. I think if the Oilers win this next game, I'm very, very scared. This could be unprecedented. This is what these guys do.
We're not going to hedge. Cam, we got in a parlay too. You know, we talked about it. So this is the final leg. We're not hedging. We're going straight through steam. We're going down with the ship. We're not going to hedge. Game 7, we're not. Doesn't matter. We're not hedging.
Cam,
it only pays
back up there. Hold on. What is this, Hollywood Squares? Let me see. So
no,
NBA, wrong.
UConn,
NHL. What the hell's going on here? What is this?
We picked 3 teams in each league. So we got the men's basketball champion. Yeah. We got the NBA champion. And we got 3 teams in the NHL, the last of which is the Florida Panthers. So this plays 131 to 1, and Wetzel is so stubborn and so hard-headed, he will not hedge. And I told him before you joined us that Edmonton proved a lot to me last night. That was a really good win, Cam. Connor McDavid's walking on water more so than he ever did.
It was. The problem was, though, Dave? I told Gabe this too. When you come off an 8-1 loss in a hockey game, you're the team that comes out and pounds in the first. When Edmonton's got the early goals, I go, here we go. You know Florida's in trouble. They dominated the end of that game, Wetzel. You saw it. They just they were too far behind. They just You can't get behind like that and expect to win these games all the time. And Skinner's playing better now. But what are you, Scott? What's your astrological sign? Are you a Taurus? Like, who are you? Like, what are you?
Virgo.
Yeah, Virgo. I should have known that. That was my second guess. Virgo's hard-headed, stubborn, can't talk him out of anything.
Stubborn,
Trust me.
Polish, German.
My chick's a Virgo. I trust me. I get you, Wetzel.
Let me ask you this, right? Yeah. This Florida team is 4 lines deep. Their fourth line could be a number 1 line for a number of teams, and yet they're getting 20 shots on goal. How's that possible to be so good, so many great players, and yet they don't shoot the puck? I mean, 20 stinking shots last night, or 21, whatever it was. What's going on?
They were getting, what they were doing, too? I don't understand why everything worked was their little flip to the net where they get the tips. Like, it's almost like the roles are reversed. Yeah. Edmonton's figuring out how to get to the net and changing everything, where Florida's reverting back to trying to make everything pretty. That's why they were winning, because they were putting pucks at the net. Anyway, you guys know this. And Gabe and I talked about it. Gabe brought up a good point. Like, he's riding the Oilers, but this team now has so much damn pressure on them with everybody in Canada, all the bandwagon jumpers now. You think they were partying before when they won 1 game? Now they're coming back to Edmonton with a chance to go to Game 7. Like, the weight of the country is on these guys, man. Like, everybody's cheering for the Oilers. I almost feel bad that I'm not, because I thought Florida was a better team, and they looked that way for a while. But now I'm kind of like, God, man, Edmonton looks good. But I'm with you, Wetzel. I gotta ride this thing out too. But in Game 7, I have a lot of thinking to do. I'll give it one more shot because the thing is, it's almost going to be Florida's going to be what, a slight favorite in Game 7, like -120 or -115 if Edmonton wins the next game.
Yeah,
probably
correct.
They're not going to be $1.40 or $1.50. It'll be like I just got to saw off my bets. Right?
10 cents less of what the series price started. So if it was around 130 series price, 135, it'll be -20, minus a quarter in Game 7. Florida favored. Edmonton's favored in Game 6. They've earned that right. This is going to be an electric game, but I think we'll know if Florida scores first, they have to score first. They have to do something.
Oh, for sure.
But let's get to the golf. Coming off a U.S. Open that was incredible, as far as, Bryson winning and all that other stuff. Is it a letdown for you, Cam, or is this just like, let's jump right back in? We're at the Travelers. Let it fly. Hit it high. Let's go.
Letdown, Dave. That's the opposite. This is a high-level event they're talking about. No, seriously. I'm not even joking around. This is part of like the Travelers used to be like, really? We're going to the Travelers? Like, the guys would be like, pass. But now it's an elevated event. Take a look at the field. The best players in the world are here. Scheffler's here. Schauffele, Morikawa, all the guys are here, right? So this is a big deal. The question is, those guys who played the U.S. Open and got beat down by that course, how are they going to play? You almost want to take a couple guys that, weren't there and kind of can linger, didn't play as much golf and weren't in the mix, because that could be very taxing U.S. Open, right? And I don't know how much gas they have left in the tank, but I love this tournament, to be honest with you. Carver and I hit it last year with Keegan Bradley at 50-1. He always plays well in the East Coast. Shout out to Mike Cardano. He's a St. John's Red Storm. He went to that school. So, Keegan Bradley loves the East Coast. He loves playing in Boston, Connecticut. He's like a winner like Wetzel. He's a Celtic guy. He's like, all of his teams win. That's the thing. If he wasn't playing golf and making millions of dollars, he'd be taking his bookie to the cleaners or taking one of the sports books to the cleaners, because he loves Boston sports. You guys want to get into it now? We will.
Yes.
If you want to get into it now, let's get into it now. Let's go. We're going to start things off here. 20-1. This is what I like. Patrick Cantlay. What do we take? Guys in form. A guy who's won here before. He's top 5 every time he plays in this tournament. I think he's getting sick and tired of everybody else like winning tournaments too. At 20-1 Cantlay. I talked to Mr. Burns, Sam Burns, 35-1, perfect guy for this course. Brian Harman hits it straight. Look, some of the same guys. Sepp Straka, he's my friend. He never lets me down. When I match up at Sepp Straka, is one of the only guys I don't want to kill. And by the way, Matthew Fitzpatrick, you're dead to me. And I told Carver to yell at you at the tournament. I was going to make a sign for him to give to you because you're such a punk. JT Poston, wait a minute, Mr. Poston at 80-1. And my big bomb this week, Andrew Putnam at 200-1, hits it straight. Wow. Can we get the putter going? Guys, I'm telling you, it could be a big dog this week. 6,900 yards, very short course. Top 10, take this guy. Top 10, top 20, lay the juice. Ludwig Aberg is one of the best players in the world. He almost won last tournament last week. He's young and already in the upper echelon of golf. Top 20, I got a million guys for you. Tony Finau is in great form right now. A lot of people in the know, guys at Golf Digest, Keith Stewart, a lot of those guys think he can win, plus 230 for Finau. Who else are we looking at for a top 10? I got a couple other guys in the top 20 market. Got to have a Canadian. Corey Connors just made the Canadian Olympic team. Actually, my buddy's golfing with Adam Hadwin, who's not very happy because he missed it out by one. Corey Connors finished T9 and knocked Hadwin out of the Olympics. My buddy's golfing with him next week. They're friends. Keegan Bradley, plus 140. He might not repeat, but I like top 20. Ashkay Bhatia, this lefty, and his kid is red hot, Dave. Watch out for this guy, Scott. He's the next big thing. And Brendan Todd hits it about as far as Wetzel's kids, but I'll tell you one thing, he's a great putter, and he always puts it on the green. At plus 340, I got to be there. First round leaders. Let's take this money and roll it. Morikawa, 20-1. Tony Finau, 32. Tagala loves to come into the gate hot at 35. Ashkay Bhatia, 55. Dave, do you like a hoagie sandwich? I do, and a side of wings at 65. And Captain Kirk, beam me up to some winnings, please. 65 with some space alien ladies, too. That would be sweet. 65. In.
It's a big menu.
Sorry, Wetzel.
That's a big menu.
I'm working hard. You guys got me like sweating here. Whoa. Hot under the lights. Hot under the lights. Got some winners. Let's go.
Hole in one? Hole in one at minus 140, yes or no?
We missed the boat, Wetzel, last week. Let's just avoid that. Let's just worry about the golf.
Yeah.
I don't care about the hole in one. We felt good.
All right. Cam and Gabe, top of the hour.
You got it.
Up.
Crazy how many teams had a chance to win. The Ripper GC went from 9 back to leading by 2 to near the cellar again late in the day. It was so volatile, counting 4 scores. It was pretty nuts, but you know, the cliques have been cellar dwellers for basically 2.5 seasons, and they come out victorious today. That's awesome.
It'll be the summer of the cliques, definitely. So, like I said, there's definitely more to come from us.
It was a magnificent ball striking performance.
Yeah, you know, I got to speak to someone in his camp before he teed off this morning, and they said to me that he is finally feeling extremely comfortable out here. He's not thinking about any swing thought. He's going out there, he's swinging so freely, and it certainly showed today. The way he drove the ball, the way he hit his irons, and even in his putting as well.
Yeah, and lives in Texas, went to school in Texas. His tour win on the PGA Tour was here in Houston, which is Texas, and now his first live win, Texas.
Honestly, it was just a matter of playing solid coming down the stretch. I think there was a good switch there on 15 that I made birdie, he made bogey, and I just knew that I had to power in pretty much, and it was mine. The 18 I made bogey, but it worked. He played unbelievable, and he put pressure all the way to the end, and it was a good battle. I love playing here. Obviously, Texas treats me well. It's my adopted home state, so I'm just happy to get it done again in Houston.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, prime time here on the Grid. Thanks again for Cam Stewart joining us, as he always does. Top of the hour with Gabe for the next 3 hours, and hopefully you got everything all written down, because he zipped through those. I will say it is amazing. If you need them, shoot me a text or an email, and I'll send it out to you. But I will say this with the Travelers, right? I'm not a big golf bettor. I get his picks, and I bet those, right? Have some fun with it. But I did notice Scotty Scheffler, Dave, was plus 360. Now, he was plus 260 or so last week at the U.S. Open. We had everybody playing. You got a pretty good field, I will say, this week. But maybe, seeing Scotty Scheffler come back to the pack and become human last week, are we maybe going to see some of the odds on Scheffler in some of these tournaments become a little bit more attractive?
I don't know if I'm ready to say that. I mean, he's been so good that I don't know if books are ready to go in a limited field tournament like this and say, oh, yeah, just let's make Scotty affordable. Let's give people a reason to bet him. They're going to bet him anyway. So, no, I don't think they're going to be not like U.S. Open prices. That was crazy how low that got. So
yeah, that was nuts, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to believe it got down to plus 280, and that's what it closed. By the way, Stanton just hit a home run for the Yankees. They are back 5-4. Is that right? I got 5-4 in the bottom of the seventh. Oh, boy. Here we go.
Rare clutch
Yankees
home
coming
run
back.
from Stanton.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, he usually hits those when they're up 7-1 or down 8-2.
Well, they were down 5-1, and he hit a home run. I mean, that's okay. Yankees are. Why do you not like them so much?
I'm a Red Sox fan. You don't have to ask that. It comes with being born. You hate the Yanks. Cheaters. Stole Roger Clemens away. Sticking needles in their ass. Stole Alex Rodriguez away from us.
They did you a favor.
Yeah, just so they would lose. Yeah.
You only bet on them to lose? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
What chapter is that in Wetzel's book of theories and different reasons for stuff? Where's that?
Black
is that
Cloud.
in the front or the back?
Put the Black Cloud on them. Oh, they'll never win another World Series ever again. Not when me being alive. No, not happening.
Wow.
I will put my life savings. I'll put the kids, all the college education funds on them if they get to the World Series. Yeah, it's not happening. Wow. Oh, yeah, I'm not going to allow that. Look, right now, we have the upper hand. Red Sox fans have the upper hand. Stankies haven't won in, 12 years, whatever it is. We have more World Series in the last 20 years than they have or whatever it is. We have the emotional upper hand, so we can't give that up. After the first, 35-plus years of my life, these last 10, 15 have been very nice. We'll take it. Thank you very much. We'll keep it that way.
And as
bet on the Yanks if they get to the World Series.
You celebrate the Celtics championship. Things are rolling. I mean, this is just get the Celtics and then the Red Sox. LeMahieu hits into an inning double play to kill the rally.
Nice.
So it's 5-4 going to the top of the eighth. Thanks, Orioles. That's good. We got out of that. Just like that. Okay.
Yanks are still plus 270. I must say, that's not a bad little. You get 2 at-bats, getting plus 270, almost 3-1.
So you just said you don't bet on them, but you recommend other people to bet on them.
This is like
number. What are you doing right now? You're secretly hoping they lose.
Couple of shekels. I wouldn't do it, but if I was, no dog in the fight, I'd probably do that.
All right.
If I did it, again, it would be so they would lose. So if I bet them, they won't win. So I might put in there plus 270.
What is your price on the Dodgers right now, sir? The Rockies just tied up the Dodgers. It is now 4-4 after 4. So your Black Cloud play of the night game total over 10.5 is off to a nice start as we approach the 5th inning. But the Dodgers here minus 180. Time to play the Dodgers again. Go in for another play. They score here in the 5th. Who's coming up in the 5th? Might be time to play the Dodgers right now.
Yeah, I'm not big on laying $1.90. FanDuel's got a $1.90. Maybe a run and a half at plus 106. You got to get a ton of runs, right? I don't think the Dodgers are winning this one 5-4. So both bullpens now in play. Both starters gone.
Yep. A lot of runs.
13.5 is your total.
Yeah.
It's come down a little bit. I still think we're going to get a bunch of runs. Texas tied the Mets for 3-3. Mets have jumped out to 3-1 lead. Twinkies 2-2 with the Devil Dogs as well. Hey, we got some close games tonight,
Some good ball games
outside
tonight,
of the Red Sox winning. But we haven't had this too often. So,
no.
Milwaukee, quick 1-0 lead over the Angels.
I got a quick question for you, too. When's the last time you were at a championship parade?
Never.
Can you even remember? You've never been to a championship parade? What kind of fan are you?
No.
Never once.
No. Yankees, and I'm not going to a Yankee championship parade. Devils are in Jersey. They held theirs in a parking lot, so I was going to go to a parking lot for their championship parade. Yeah, that was goofy. One more thing to embarrass the Devils with. Yeah, so no, never. Why, have you?
Absolutely. When the Penguins won the Stanley Cup in 1991, we couldn't wait. My buddies went out to the airport and tried to get in the bus with the team and touch the cup and all this other stuff. That was glorious. Yes. Have I ever been to a parade? Penguins Stanley Cup 1991-92.
This is not like
I went to the celebration last year here in Vegas. Took the kids. It was 110. I mean, everybody was melting. We stood in the sun, almost passed out. The lady in front of us had to have services pick her up off the ground. She just passed out. It was so hot, but it was fun. But the Celtics parade is on Friday. I figured you take the kids up there and go watch the parade. Duck boats.
There's only how many players on a team? 15? How many floats are there going to be? 2? You're going to wait, 5 hours, literally, standing there in the sun or whatever, and it's going to be done in 30 seconds. It's not the Macy's Day Parade where I got 5 blocks worth of floats. I got 2 floats.
Have you been to that? Have you been to the Macy's Day Parade?
Yes, I have. I have been to that several times.
Crazy how many teams had a chance to win. The Ripper GC went from 9 back to leading by 2 to near the cellar again late in the day. It was so volatile, counting 4 scores. It was pretty nuts, but the Cliques have been cellar dwellers for basically 2.5 seasons, and they come out victorious today. That's awesome.
It'll be the summer of the Cliques, definitely. So, like I said, there's definitely more to come from us.
It was a magnificent ball striking performance.
Yeah, I got to speak to someone in his camp before he teed off this morning, and they said to me that he is finally feeling extremely comfortable out here. He's not thinking about any swing thought. He's going out there, he's swinging so freely, and it certainly showed today. The way he drove the ball, the way he hit his irons, and even in his putting as well.
Yeah, and lives in Texas, went to school in Texas. His tour win on the PGA Tour was here in Houston, which is Texas, and now his first live win, Texas.
Honestly, it was just a matter of playing solid coming down the stretch. I think there was a switch there on 15 that I made birdie, he made bogey, and I just knew that I had to power in pretty much, and it was mine. The 18 I made bogey, but it worked. He played unbelievable, and he put pressure all the way to the end, and it was a good battle. I love playing here. Obviously, Texas treats me well. It's my adopted home state, so I'm just happy to get it done again in Houston.
You're right.
All right, welcome back. In-game live, prime time here on the grid. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sheriff. We're just talking about the ticker tape parades and everything else. Those are dangerous. It's hot. You know what I used to do when I used to go to my buddy's place in Arizona, play some golf? Just get a wet towel, just get a soaking wet, cold wet towel, and drape it around your neck. And we used to golf that way. We'd be the only idiots on the golf course. Right? It's 105 degrees, and we got the golf course to ourselves.
So you were playing golf in Arizona in the summer. Was in your training for the U.S. Open, like for when you could, when you actually, you're going to qualify for the U.S. Open?
Exactly. This is a few years back, but yeah, exactly. I played the hills, up, down, battling rattlesnakes, everything else, cactus.
Yeah. Now, I lived in Arizona for 4 years in between my stint in Curacao and Vegas. I was the director of sales and marketing for a golf course and resort in Arizona, in Cave Creek. So I was playing golf 4 to 5 times a week. People like you would come from back east in the summer and melt, and we because locals don't play in the summer in Arizona. They all put the clubs away 2-3 months. They don't play unless they play very early in the morning or they close the course at night. So I'm impressed that you were out, swinging the golf clubs in Arizona in the summer. That's good to know. Yeah. And so you got
right around the Scottsdale area.
Yeah, that's right where I was. I lived right at Greyhawk. Yeah, I lived right at Greyhawk.
Greyhawk was one of the. I was going to say Greystone. I was thinking Greystone, but I knew it wasn't Greystone. Greyhawk was one of the ones. Yeah.
That's
not bad.
You probably hit
you
my
may have been there when I was there.
You probably hit my townhouse with a ball. It used to happen all the time. Yeah, it was it was fun. We overlooked the golf course on the one side. I used to walk to the Phoenix Open. It was unbelievable. It was a great place to live. It was a great time to be young and single at the time and really enjoying all of that. But my golf game was pretty good. At some point, we're going to have to play golf. Now that I know that you can play, and the cold towel was a must-have on a golf course.
Yes.
And in the heat. It cools you off. It's refreshing. Plus, it dries pretty quick, so you can repeatedly dunk it in the water and cool yourself off. Brings your body temperature down. Absolute must.
Yeah. We would go out at 7 o'clock. We'd be like the first ones out or one of the first ones out. Play 18, go have some lunch. Then we'd go to another course. My buddy had some connections out there, works in the media field, and you'd go play in the afternoon. And we like
you were playing 36 holes in the heat.
Yes. Well, if you're really going to train for the U.S. Open, you got to really, 36 holes in the heat. Absolutely, we were nuts back then. Yeah, it was fun though. For like 3-4 days in a row.
That's a dog. I mean, that is a dog. That is some work right there.
But we didn't walk. Wow. I will say it was all car. No. Although I think you have to have a car, right? You can't even walk those courses.
There's courses you can walk out in Arizona, but not those courses in Scottsdale. You have to have a cart. Yeah. Slow play is highly discouraged. A cart keeps everything moving. Plus, there's wildlife on a lot of those courses, and you probably shouldn't, be venturing too far into the desert between the snakes, the coyotes, the bobcats, the different things that we used to tell people all the time. It's not worth it. Take the penalty stroke, leave the ball there. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Don't be searching around for a ball that, is going to get you
2 steps.
Bitten by a
2
rattlesnake.
2 steps in. You go 2 steps in to the desert, and then if you don't see it, you can't find it, don't start poking around. Just take a drop, keep play moving. That was the rule.
Someone put a snake circling the hole. So as we're in the fairway, right, and we see something around the hole, like what is that? We get closer and closer. Then we realize it's a snake. I was like, what? And this was like a thick, big rattlesnake, right? But it was dead. That the head was gone. But you didn't realize that until you got up to the hole. It's like, what the fudge is that? People personalities. Yeah. No thanks. All right, Astros up 3-1. Dodgers up 6-4. Brewers leading 1-0. And the Stanks are down 5-4. Where are we going? Final plays. Anything? And it's Seattle and the LA.
Ohtani has 1 hit, boys. He's 1 for 3. Oof. So he has 1 hit. That helps the same game parlay. We need a second hit. So I'm going to be riveted to my television rooting for the producer's pick. Let's go Ohtani. 1 more hit tonight.
There we go. Aces beat Seattle. WNBA.
Don't cover.
Cover to 6.
They don't cover.
Don't cover.
They don't cover.
Yeah.
Take the point.
All right. There you go.
Good job, boys.
We'll talk to you in a while.